What's up, TFT players? Welcome back to Celestial Tactician. Today we're diving into the best meta comps for TFT patch 14.16b. Whether you're grinding rank or just trying to find your next go-to strategy, this video will give you everything you need to know to dominate the competition. This will teach you what items are good for certain units. It will teach you how to position your champions. And yeah, let's get into it. The first comp we're going to go is Bastion, Ahri, and Poppy. Bastion, Ahri, and Poppy, I'm kind of shocked, still is doing solid with a solid 60.1% win rate on like top 4 win rate. And then it has overall 14.7 win rate with an average placement of 4.01. The play rate is surprisingly only a 0.46, but hey, whatever works. So the main units that are going to be going is Zoe, Lilia, Poppy. You always want them in the front line. Then you have Ahri. Those are your core units that you want. And then you're going to just 3-star them, 3-star, 3-star, 3-star. So these are the main 3 stars that you want. So what are you wanting to do is either A, have a really strong board early game, hit all the Zoes that you can, all the Poppies you can, and all the Lilias that you can. It's not recommended that you roll down at all until like 3-2 or 3-1, depending on if you're healthy enough and you have enough gold and stuff, and you can actually do that. Whenever I play this, I usually just roll down at like 3-2. If I have plus 50 gold, like 62 gold or something like that, I will honestly, instead of leveling up or letting myself level up, I will roll down all my gold down to like 30, and I'll try to get as many of these champions as possibly can. And if you have any augments that gives you some sort of like cash, like all the shimmers, what else? If you get something that gives you more, I don't really like rolling for days, in my opinion. Let's actually look for some of the augments that are actually pretty good. So if you get spell blades, where is it? So many of them. So what it looks like works very well for this comp is Witchy Wallop, which is kind of obvious because you already have a Poppy there. So if you get this hero augment, it just makes your board stronger. And believe it or not, high horsepower Lilia works very well in this comp. And if you get a prismatic ticket, that also works very well because more rerolls equals more champions they can buy, which means you have a higher chance to 3-star your units. And the variations that you can go to play with this comp is if you are just staying at level 8, you hit all your units, which is very crucial to making this comp work. If you don't hit all your units, you're kind of very weak, and you'll probably get like a 5th or 6th place, which isn't bad, but it's not ideal. You can play Hecarim into here, then you can play just the typical board with 4 Bastions and then 4 Scholars with the Ryze and then Melio. And the items that you really want to go for on Ahri, I'm going to just place down a few of them, is you can go blue buff. Where's the other items? JG. And where's the other one? Death cap. Right here. So this is actually really solid. You really want to go for something like more damagey with Ahri now that her AP ratio has been nerfed and her true damage has been nerfed. You just really want to just try to bulk out as much damage as possible. Another combination could be like Sojin, Giant Resolve, or what is that called? Giant Slayer. And maybe a Nash's Tooth. And another one that you can go is just that, Jockshow or Adaptive Helm. Archangel Staff is good, but it's not really. You can throw it on any AP unit, actually. So just to give you guys a little idea, This may not be like the strongest build you can go with Ahri, but it's something. And for say if you don't hit the Ahri 3 and you only hit the Zoe, you can just transfer the items over to Zoe, and then she can be the main carry for the day. Because you only throw in Ahri just because A, she has Arcana, which gives her the 3-star. For every 3-star you have on your board, you gain like 5 AP, additional AP. And on top of that, she's a scholar, so very simple. If you ever get, so these are the emblems that you really want to kind of look out for. Where are they? So Arcana, you can throw it on any unit in reality, but you really want to just throw it on Lilia or any frontline, just because it gives them extra HP. Another one you want to go with is the Scholar emblem. You can throw it on Lilia. I mean, you can throw it on anybody, but those are the two main emblems that you really want. And for Radiant items, you normally want to go with, let's see, can I remove that? Okay. So for the normal Radiant items that you really want to aim for is Adapted Helm, where it's the Death Cap, and Sojin. I mean, Sojin's not really needed. You can actually go like blue buff instead. You don't hit Sojin or any of them, then if that doesn't work, you can go Archangel Staff or Rage Blade. You can just do a whole bunch of flex options for Radiant items. Even Morelicon if you don't have any frontline stuff. For the frontlines, if you get any items, the recommended ones that I would recommend you building and placing them on the champions are, I would recommend you put the Gargoyle Still Plating on Poppy, just because A, she gets a shield, and B, she's overall, in my opinion, she's more tankier than Lilia, in my opinion. Lilia might have healing, but it's not the same as Poppy, that's just my opinion. Then you want a Warmogs after that, because believe it or not, HP is a defensive, like it increases the amount of defensive stats that, how do I say it? So the more armor you have, the more HP you want to have, so you can utilize the full extent of the defensive stats. And then for the last item, you can go like, I don't know, you can go this for the defensive, the durability. It says gain 8 durability while above 50% HP, instead gain 15 durability, which is really solid. Or if you don't like that and you don't have it, you can go Protector's Vow or Ramble. The one item I kind of recommend you staying away from, unless you honestly need it, is Dragon Claw. They nerfed it into the ground, so it's no longer really worth building, because if I would rather have 2 Gargoyle Stone Plating than anything else. And for Lilia, you can always throw on an Ionic Spark, Gargoyle, and Warmogs, or you can go Protector's Vow if you have weird items like a tier and a chest plate that you don't really need. Or you can go Sunfire for early game advantage. You can actually throw that on either one. Or if you really want to build up some kind of sustain, you can throw on Redemption. It just really depends on what your items are and how you're likely to use them. And my recommendation is that if you have gloves that you don't need, just make a TG and just throw it on like a Taric or Hecarim. Because it'll do you very solid, because TGs are really tanky. Like they can give you really tanky stats and stuff, which will help you in the later stages of the game. And yeah, if you have any, I would recommend doing Milio as a third person carry, just because he can add extra items, but he's really difficult to build. You need like a Sojin, Rage Blade, and some kind of AP item like Death Cap to make him really strong. But normally just throwing on a Sojin is fine for him. And yeah, that's all for the Bastion Ahri Poppy comp. So the next one I'm going to go with is, by the way, I'm doing this mainly off the Oh, I didn't tell you guys what kind of other champs you can play in that comp. Hold on, I'm gonna go back to the Bastion Ahri Poppy. So you can go the typical route with Ryze, Taric, Milio, or if you don't find Milio, you can do a substitute with Bard early game, then swap out to Milio. These are kind of the same thing, the only difference is that Bard is a preserver, and Milio's not, and you're not really going to get any effect off the preserver trait there because nobody else is a preserver. Or if you don't like that, you can always just throw in like a Tahm Kench up front if you find him. Or if you don't want to, you can always play a Xerath, which Xerath is kind of, you kind of want items on him. It doesn't have to be a lot of items, just something on him. Or you can just play this and then throw in a Diana, just to kind of keep it tanky, because you're going to have Tahm Kench, Ryze, Poppy, Lilia, Zoe, and where is he? There we go. And this would kind of be your board. I mean, it is a level 9 board, but I still think it's a very solid choice. But yeah. Well, you wouldn't play Ryze here, no. You just do it like this. Pretty solid. Or if you don't hit any units that you want, or say if you get like a weird bunch, and if you hit Hecarim, throw them in here. You can always play like a Nunu just as a Bastion cover. Or if you don't like playing Nunu, you can always drop him and throw in Shen. This is another board that you can play Shen, Tahm Kench, and Xerath. Like I said, it's a little, it has what you call it. It has a lot of potential, but most of these champions aren't really good into without items. Like Xerath, you want items, and Tahm Kench, you want item because he has CC. I mean, Shen, you can throw items on him, but it doesn't really matter. And yeah, that's all I really have for that comp. And if you guys have anything else to add, let me know, just so I can improve on it. But other than that, let's just drop these units. Oh yeah, by the way, for the Ahri, you always want them in the back row, either A right here, so they can target the main tanks on the side, or over here so that they can target the main tanks and stay out of line, like stay out from getting targeted. If you guys want to know what a positioning, like what kind of positions you need to do, just let me know and I'll make a video on that. Alright, so this is my favorite comp to play. I like to go Portal Ryze. I like to do Portal Vertical. So this is the board that I play a lot throughout my rank journey. Just for many factors. Actually, where are all them? Jace, Zoe, Ryze, Taric, and that's actually very nifty. All right. So this is what the board kind of looks like. You have 8 Scholar. Normally, what I like to do is try to get to level 9. You throw Yuumi. I like to throw Yuumi. So I'll do something like this, and then I'll throw Yuumi right here, because Yuumi acts like an invisible champion, like an invisible blocker. So when units come down and try to attack you, the units actually won't come straight down here. They won't try to pass over to focus a cast in and stuff. I mean, you can always do something like this, but this is just an example set. So the units, oh, you want Jason front. So when you have Yuumi here, she acts like an invisible blocker, believe it or not. I'm not sure if that's a bug or a feature, but yeah, in my opinion, anytime you want to play this comp, I recommend trying to go fast 9, because you can throw in, for say, if you hit level 9, you can throw in a Nami, throw her in the corner over here, and then she'll stun any units in the bunch over here. You always want to itemize Nami over Nora and Yumi, in my opinion. Nora and Yumi does damage, but Ryze is already a damage dealer. You want something that can do CC and prolong the fight, so your Ryze can cast more, gain more attack speed, or whatever. So the other boards I can play is Melio and where is it? Melio Bard. You can also play, but I don't recommend that, just because it's very, in my opinion, it's weaker than this board. And yeah, the itemization for Ryze is what is Winter Rageblade. That's what I build. Sojin, and if I get a death cap, I'll throw him on there. Or I'll do this. I'll build a Nashor's Tooth, Winter's Rageblade, and Sojin. Or if I get very unlucky and get terrible items, I always throw on that Morellicon, JG. And I always try my hardest to gain a Sojin, Spear Sojin, but if I don't hit a Spear Sojin, I would sometimes throw on a Adapted Helm and throw in the backline just so I gain some kind of, mana regeneration. Or I like to do that. Archangel Staff, Windsuits, and Sojin. So these are different things that you can build. They all have varying success rates, and yeah. The itemization for your Taric is going to be your main tank, so you want to throw down a Gargoyle Stone Plating, a Warmogs, and you can either go with Steadfast Heart as your third item, or like I said, I kind of recommend staying away from this, but Taric scales off of MR, so it might be a good option to do that. Or if you don't, like I said, I don't recommend using that really much, all that much. You can always throw on a Ionic Spark, because that would lower the enemy's magic resistance. Or if you're feeling really like you really need some kind of sustain or durability help, you can throw on Random Redemption. And yeah, in my opinion, the best radium items are Winsu's Rageblade, or Reckoning's, whatever it's called, Ionic Spear Sojin, and depending on your circumstances, I like to go with the Archangel Staff as one of the items I get, or Nashor's Tooth. Or if you get very lucky, you can get Death Cap, and that would also be a very solid choice. The emblems that you're looking for is, to be honest with you, it's just portals. You just want the portal emblem they can throw on like a Nami. That's the only unit on the board that's not a portal unit. Yeah, the portal emblem is the only one that I really want to go for in this comp. I mean, you go for other ones, like if you get like a Bastion, Bastion when you throw it on Galio, make your board extra tanky. Or Vanguard, throw it on Taric. Whatever. It's depending on how your game runs, in my opinion. Here are some other variations I can do. If for say, let me think. Let's get rid of these guys. For say, if you don't hit your Jace, you just don't, and you don't have a emblem for that, you can always, I'm only showing you fast 9 boards, alright? Actually, no, I'm not going to show your Fast 9 board. I'm just going to show you. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to just show you regular Fast 9 boards. So the core units that you always want to keep are Ryze, Galio, Norris, Nora, Yuumi. These are the 3 champions that you want to keep as your core units for Fast 9ing. You can always throw in Ahri, throw in Hecarim or Arcana. You can throw in Nami, Tahm Kench, Diana, Xerath. By the way, if you go for this and you go for like a Xerath, always Arcana the Xerath, because he gives you true damage. And for Nami, you always want to place her at the corner where the enemy carries at, because she'll most likely ult through them and constantly stun them. And for Xerath, you kind of want them right in this area, just so A, when they do break through the front line, they're going to be more amped to attack the Xerath. And B, that's just how I really place them, honestly. There's no other excuse on why. For Ryze, I either like to have them over here if the enemy carries on this side, and I know that the enemy carry can target my backline just after they finish my first side tank. Or I like to have Ryze up here. Because A, the enemy, the enemy's backline is up here, and Ryze has a chance to target in the back with one of his many portals. And B, it's pretty good depending on if Nami's coming on this side. If Nami's up here, she'll most likely ult down this way. And so I'm just trying to buy more time for Ryze. So yeah. Another board you can play is that you get rid of the Ahri, throw in a Zoe, get rid of the Xerath, throw in a Kassadin. You keep the Diana, you keep the Tahm Kench. Let's see. And then you go for that. Oh, I already have Tahm Kench. Then bam. This is another variation, then go. I'll show you guys one last one before I move on. Like I said, I played a lot of this board, so I kind of know most of these comps that you can go. You don't hit the units that you want, or you don't hit the units that you want to throw on your board. You can throw in a Jace, Ezreal, just the basic comp. Jace, Ezreal, then Diana. And this is the final comp I'm going to show you. If you have a board like this where it has 4 people in the center, always throw the Yuumi on this side if you have Ryze on this side, or throw Yuumi on this side if you have Ryze on this side. Because like I said before, enemies will not walk past here and try to circle around Diana. They will actually walk all the way around and attack the Jace or attack Taric if there's open spots. So remember that. And augments that you want to go are, of course, anything with portal. Just because you want portal emblems. And in my opinion, you would want support golem. You can go magic wand, or you can go for spell blades. These are just like a few comps you can go. A few augments. Remember, always stay flexible. So yeah, there we go. And then last but not least, in my opinion, a comp that is doing really good into the Ahri, into the Warrior Nyla and Katarina boards and stuff, is Hwei VarusEach. I've seen him do really good. The only thing I gotta say is that this board is kind of emblem heavy. I mean, you can still win with it, or you can still pivot off to other comps like Frost Hewlett. Just go full on vertical Frost with Hewlett. And I'll show you guys a few boards on how to play this. So the main units are Twitch, Warwick, Actually, no, they're not the main units in... What? Yes, the main units are Hewlett, Swain the tank, and Olaf. So I'm gonna just get the itemization done right away. Let's see, where is it? So for Hewlett, the items that you really want to keep are, let's see, you want a Nashor's Tooth, you want Jewel Gauntlet, and you want blue buff. The only reason why you want blue buff is because Hewlett has a very low mana cost. So the more alts that you can get them to cast, the better. Another variation that can go is Sojin, Nashor's, and JG. And last but not least, you can also go for double what you call it, mana items, and then like a death cap. These are all very solid choices in my opinion. And yeah, you have AD items. This is actually really good on Olaf. Like Olaf actually utilizes AD items really good. You can go for Bloodthirster, Taric Gauge, and Titan Resolve. If I can find it. There we go. Or you can go Night Edge. Edge of Night, my bad. Bloodthirster. And then Taric. Or if you're feeling really fruity and you just want to flex on people that you have items, you can go Hand of Justice, BT, and into that. Those are really good items all on Olaf, and he can actually carry most, like some of the games. I've had it happen where he jumps over here, he kills off the carries the tanks on this side, and then he jumps to the back line and just starts obliterating them because I itemized them correctly. And last but not least, the Swain. The items that you really wanna play for Swain are Protector's Vow. Since he's our main tank and our own, like he's one of the only tanks in this comp, you want to go for Gargoyle Stone Plating so he can tank a lot. And then War Mounts, because it's really good for HP wise. If you don't like that, you can always go Redemption, Gargoyle, into Warmogs. Or if you just really want to flex on your opponent, saying, hey, I have a lot of defensive items, you can go Bramble, Dragon's Claw, and Warmogs. These are all very solid choices in my opinion, and you want to kind of focus on getting Swain 3 and Hewlett 3. This is what really makes the comp shines. So I'm going to get rid of these and actually start building the actual board. So what you want is have Twitch because he's a Hunter Frost, which gives Olaf a huge advantage. You want to have a Shen, if I can find him, as a front line, as one of the front lines. Nasus, Varus, and a Diana. This is just standard level 8 level 8 board. I doubt that you'll hit level 9 very often. The way you really want to keep the board going, you want, for the way I position Varus, if I have items on him, I always put him right here. So we're in the second to last row, because Varus targets the largest group cluster, and which normally means where the carries are. If you put him in the second row, he actually has a chance at the back carries. Like, for say if his carries over here, you can throw him back here, and you'll actually aim over here if there's a lot of them. You always want to kind of put Olaf right where your main damage is. just so he has a higher chance of actually killing things and hopping off to the next opponent, the next unit. This is one of the main positions that I like to do. I do this just so they can all focus down on one area and slowly kill them all. For Varus, the items that you kind of look for is that, which got Spear Sojum. What is this called? Last Whisper. And what you call it? IE. Infinity Edge. Or if you have an emblem, you just throw a Frost emblem on them. Like that. If you get Frost emblems, throw it on Varus and Nasus. Like I said, this board requires emblems, so if you hit, you hit. If you don't, you don't. This is still a very solid board, even without the 7 Frost. So yeah. Another board you can go is you get Warwick up in here. Yeah, you get Warwick. That's the only thing that's new added. You get Warwick instead of Diana, or you can play Warwick Zillion, get rid of Nasus. There's not really too much flex you can really do here, but if you had a 3-star Swain, you don't really need that. Or if you don't have the the Frost emblems and stuff, you can get rid of them and just play Vertical Frost Diana. And if you hit level 9, you throw in like a Taric just for Bastion, which gives Swain a little bit more tankiness and stuff. And if you feel unlucky, you can hit level 9, play Smolder, Shyvana, drop the Taric. Yeah, this is also pretty solid. And if you hit level 10, if you hit the lucky 1-0, just play Namzi. And then itemize the Smolder with Rage Blade, Sojin, and yeah, I don't know what other items that you play on Smolder. I don't play him all that much. I know he's a solid champion, but I just don't like the feel of the champion. And yeah, those are all the meta comps that I've played. Also, if you really want to know what augments to go for them, you want to go for like anything like the Frost emblems, support Golem, then Giant and Mighty to give Swain more tankiness. New Recruit is also a solid one if you find it. And yeah, and if you also get a removable object, which I know is a prismatic one, I've in my experience, I've gotten a lot of prismatic ones throughout most of my games, so it's not very a rarity nowadays. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, let me know down below if there's anything I can do to change anything else I can include to make the video more, how do I say, informative. Just let me know down below. I feel like I gave everything that you guys really needed to know in this meta rundown on what 3 comps that you guys can play. And yeah, hope you guys have a wonderful day, and bye bye.